Do you feel like you're working hard but your English is stuck in the same place? Are you tired of studying for hours and still feeling like you can't have a normal conversation? In today's episode, we are revealing the 5 practical mistakes that are stopping your progress right now. We aren't just talking about grammar, we're giving you the exact solutions to fix them. Stay with us until the very end because we're sharing the ultimate piece of advice to make sure you never feel stuck again. Let's get started with the podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to EnglishLab channel. I'm so happy to be here today. I'm joined by my great friend, Chris. How's it going, Chris?
Everything is great, Michelle. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris. Today, we have a very important topic for all our listeners who feel a bit frustrated with their progress.
You said it. We're diving straight into the 5 practical errors you're making and how to solve them. Let's jump into the first one because it's a big one.
The first mistake is what I call the study marathon. It's when people try to study for 5 hours on a Sunday because they didn't have time during the week.
Oh, I see that so often. People think that one big session can make up for 6 days of doing nothing at all.
Exactly, but our brains don't work like that. From a neurological perspective, your brain has a limit on how much it can absorb in one sitting.
It's like eating a whole week's worth of food in one meal. You're going to feel sick and your body won't use the energy well.
That's a great way to put it. When you wait a week between sessions, the forgetting curve is very aggressive.
By the time next Sunday comes around, you've probably forgotten 80% of what you learned the previous week. Your brain has to restart every single time.
It's so inefficient. So what's the practical solution for this, Michelle?
It's the 15-minute rule. You need to stop seeing English as a special event and start seeing it as a daily habit, like brushing your teeth.
Just 15 minutes? Does that really make a difference?
Absolutely, because being consistent is more important than being intense. 15 minutes every day keeps those neural pathways active.
I love that. It makes the task feel less overwhelmed. You can always find 15 minutes, right?
Exactly. You can set an alarm on your phone for a specific time. During those 15 minutes, you do one active task, like speaking out loud or writing 3 sentences.
I actually tried this when I was learning my 3rd language. Even on days when I was tired, I just did 10 or 15 minutes.
And did you feel less stressed about it?
Much less. I didn't feel guilty for not studying because I did my 15 minutes.
That's the key. By the way, for those listening, we want to know about your habits.
Yes, please tell us in the comments, how many hours do you study per week? Do you do it all at once, or do you split it up?
We really want to see how you organize your time. Now that you understand that daily consistency beats a Sunday marathon, let's look at what you're actually studying.
Don't go anywhere, because after this next point, you'll know how to organize your vocabulary so words never get stuck on the tip of your tongue again.
That leads us to mistake number 3, the error of orphan words.
Orphan words. That sounds a bit sad, Michelle.
It is. It's when students make long lists of single, isolated words with their translation next to them.
I used to do that all the time. I had a notebook full of words like decision, table, environment, but I never knew how to use them in a sentence.
That's the problem. Learning a word by itself is like buying a single screw when you're trying to build a car.
You have the piece, but you don't know where it goes or what it connects to.
Exactly. The solution is to learn collocations or word partners. These are groups of words that naturally go together.
Can you give us an example of how that works?
Sure. Instead of just learning the word decision, you should learn the phrase make a decision.
Oh, I see. Because in some languages, you might want to say do a decision or take a decision, which sounds a bit unnatural in English.
Precisely. If you learn make a decision as one single piece of a puzzle, you don't have to think about the grammar.
It's like a pre-assembled part. It makes your speaking much faster because you aren't building the sentence from zero.
Right, your brain just grabs the whole block. Another example is fast food versus quick shower.
We don't say quick food or a fast shower, even though the meanings are similar.
Exactly. When you learn words in context, your confidence grows because you know you sound natural.
That's a game changer. I'm going to throw out a wild card idea here for our listeners.
Go for it, Chris.
If you want to see collocations in action, try watching a documentary about something you know nothing about, like deep sea exploration or ancient history.
That's a great idea. It forces you to hear how specific words are used in a new field.
It breaks you out of your usual routine. Anyway, we've stopped learning orphan words and we've fixed our study schedule.
But what happens when you sit down to watch a movie? That's where mistake number 3 comes in.
Oh, I know this one. It's the native language subtitle trap.
Yes, this is a huge mistake. If you're watching a movie in English but reading subtitles in your own language, you're not practicing listening.
You're actually just practicing fast reading in your native language with some English noise in the background.
It's true. Your brain is lazy. It will always take the easiest path, which is reading what it already knows.
I've talked to so many students who say, I've watched hundreds of movies in English, but they still can't understand a native speaker.
Because they weren't actually listening, they were reading. The solution is what I call the double pass method.
How does that work? Do you watch the whole movie twice?
Not necessarily the whole movie, just take a short 5-minute scene. First, watch it with English subtitles.
Okay, so you can see the words and hear the sounds at the same time.
Exactly. It connects the spelling to the pronunciation. Then immediately watch the same 5 minutes again, but with no subtitles.
That sounds challenging, but I guess since you already know what they said, your brain can focus on the sounds.
Precisely. Your goal is to train your ear to recognize the physical sounds and the context of the scene without the visual crutch of text.
That is a very powerful exercise. It's like taking the training wheels off a bicycle.
It really is. It forces your brain to work. Before we move on, remember, sound first, then word partners, and then English subtitles.
But none of that helps if your mouth doesn't know how to move. Pay close attention to this next block, because we're talking about an exercise you can do alone.
It's actually more effective than many conversation classes. We are talking about mistake number 4, the silence error.
A lot of people think they can only practice speaking if they have a teacher or a language partner.
That's a myth that keeps people stuck. If you only speak for 1 hour a week in a class, your facial muscles will never get used to English.
It's like going to the gym once a month and wondering why you don't have muscles.
Exactly, Chris. Speaking a language is a physical skill, not just a mental one. You have to train your tongue, your lips, and even your jaw.
So what's the fix if you're at home alone?
It's the self-narration technique. You basically become the narrator of your own life.
Like a character in a movie.
Exactly. As you go through your day, say what you're doing out loud. I'm boiling some water now. I need to find my keys. Where did I put them?
I do this sometimes when I'm cooking. I pretend I'm on a cooking show. Now I'm adding a bit of salt to the pasta.
That's perfect. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. The point is to make English a physical response, not just a thought.
It feels a little bit crazy at first, talking to yourself in an empty room, doesn't it?
Maybe, but it's much better to feel a little crazy than to feel frozen when you actually have to talk to a real person.
That's true. It builds that muscle memory so the words come out automatically.
It really does. You're teaching your mouth how to form those English sounds without the pressure of someone else watching you.
We're in the final stretch now. We've gone from the ears to the eyes and now to the tongue.
But there's one last technical detail that separates students who sound natural from those who sound like a textbook.
Stick around for this last point because it's probably the easiest change you can make today.
Mistake number 5, ignoring phrasal verbs in daily life.
Oh, phrasal verbs, the nightmare of every English learner.
I know they can be scary, but they are the secret to sounding natural.
A lot of students try to use very formal Latin-based verbs because they're similar to their own language.
Right. They might say, I need to extinguish the lamp instead of I need to put out the light.
Extinguish sounds like you're a firefighter in a very formal report.
Exactly. It's not wrong, but it sounds like you're reading from a 19th century book.
So the solution is conscious substitution. How does a student start doing that?
Every time you catch yourself using a fancy or formal verb, try to substitute it with a phrasal verb.
For example, instead of saying, I will continue my work, you could say, I will go on with my work.
Yes, or instead of I discovered the truth, use I found out the truth.
It makes such a difference in how native speakers perceive your level.
It really does. When you use phrasal verbs, you sound like someone who actually lives the language, not just someone who studies it.
It's a tactical shift that makes your English feel more friendly and less like a school subject.
Exactly, Chris. It's about bridging that gap between the classroom and the real world.
We've covered a lot today. The 15-minute rule, collocations, the double pass method, self-narration, and phrasal verbs.
It sounds like a lot, but they are all very simple actions you can start right now.
That's the most important thing. English isn't something you just know, it's something you do.
Well said. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Speaking of using it, we have one final supreme tip for everyone who stayed with us.
Yes, the ultimate secret is to embrace the ugly phase.
The ugly phase? What do you mean by that?
I mean, you have to be okay with sounding a bit broken or making mistakes for a while.
Oh, I see. A lot of people stop practicing because they are perfectionists.
Exactly. They want to speak perfectly or not speak at all, but perfection is the enemy of progress.
So you're saying we should give ourselves permission to be messy with our English?
100%. The people who improve the fastest are the ones who aren't afraid to look a little silly while they learn.
That is so true. I remember when I started, I made so many mistakes with my prepositions, but I just kept talking.
And look at you now. You're hosting a podcast.
Exactly. It's all about the journey and the daily habits.
Well, we hope these tips help you break through that plateau and start feeling excited about your English again.
We really do. Remember, just 15 minutes a day can change everything.
Now that you know which errors you're making and how to solve them, you're ready for the next step.
If you want to take your English to the next level, you should check out our other episode.
Yes, we talk about the specific phrases you should avoid if you don't want to sound like a beginner.
We'll leave the link in the description so you can watch it right now.
It was so much fun chatting with you today, Chris.
Same here, Michelle. I can't wait for the next one.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode of EnglishLab.
Bye, everyone. Keep practicing.
Bye.